All right, I'm going to record it here and I'm streaming this on Facebook because I want all of my lists to have and I want everyone to have this. As you know, I wrote a message this morning. It's on my site, anyadvicefortoday.com, and it's called You Have Never Known Your Value. And that is true for everyone. We can't. How can we know our value if we haven't lived it? As we live our lives, we're always expanding, we're always evolving. And so we never know where we're going to go. I didn't know that. However, I will tell you, I've seen it in all of my clients. As many of you might know, I've kept changing my titles. You know, I started as a coach in this area, then I was a vocal coach, then I was this, then I said, I'm an intuitive empowerment life purpose coach. Go, well, maybe that's where I end up. Anyway, that's the surprising part. We each are born with something that we're meant to actualize, to do in the world. And it's something that could not only make our lives better, but also the world. And what's happening in the world right now is that a lot of us haven't done that. And each person is being pushed a little bit to kind of come into who they are. That's why all of this is happening in our world. We think that this is accidental. It has never been that. It's been building till we get to this place. And it has happened because so many of us have not been willing to own who we are. And the biggest person was me. And that's why I'm talking about it. I need to be completely transparent. I've been talking about my program, 4 Weeks to Your Best Life, for a long time. I've been trying to tell you folks that this crazy thing happened, that I was told, I was given information in 2012 that we were supposed to use now to move through this restructuring because our world was changing. And that made no sense to me. I said, that doesn't, why am I hearing that? Why am I receiving that? And this is the same thing that I say to all of my clients. You just don't believe what you are feeling, what's within you. Now, I had to go through this so I could explain it because I had to experience it for myself. And as I was working with this last night, I was exhausted. I was trying to get people, I could see people freaking out and not understanding and not taking care of what they could have done, which is to work on you. That's what this entire thing is. We think it's about out there. It is not. It's about what's going on within us. And that's what restructuring, that's what I'm talking about. So as I was done with this, and I sent out a message to my list, and I said, okay, I'm going to change the price on my program, and I don't understand why you people aren't understanding how valuable this is. Well, the fact was, I didn't get it. I didn't understand because it was so strange that I had received this. This is what I say to every single one of my clients. You don't know what you have, and you don't know when it's going to come about or when it's going to come into the world or when it's necessary to come into the world. I see every single person is having value to offer to the world, but we stop. We judge ourselves, we hold back, and nothing ever happens. So I'm going to, when I stopped last night, I heard very clearly my guide said, please go and look up the United States. See, because they gave me, I remember receiving all of these messages in 2020, some a little bit before, but most of them in 2020, where it talked about what was happening. But I'm seeing it happening now, and this is 2022. Why? How did that come? How did I know that? Where did that come from? That's the part that we each doubt within ourselves. We're all intuitive. We all have we listen sometimes and sometimes we don't. And so that's why I'm going to read all of this, because I know it's going to help everyone. When I read the messages last night, I just freaked out. I thought, how could I have not seen this? How could I have not known? Well, it wouldn't have made sense when I first received it, but now it does. This is what I say to my clients. You don't know what you have, it's only called potential, but you have to be willing to find it. You have to be willing to move into it and maybe think that it could possibly be there. But you'll understand a lot more of this. I was told to go and write some of these, to read some of these, because you'll understand them better this way. And my instruction was, this is a guide to your restructuring, meaning every single person here is doing their own thing. You're creating your life. It's not about what's going on out in the world, not even the war. It's just causing you to look at things in an entirely new way. But you live in individual life, and you have autonomy, and that's what you wanted to develop. That's why you're here. I'm going to read the first one. There are 3 of them. I'm just going to read these, and we'll see how long it goes. But I'm going to stay on the screen in case somebody else comes up. And this was in May of 2020. And I felt really weird writing these, putting them out there because I didn't understand what was happening, especially in the United States. Because if you remember, wherever you might be in the world, but 2020 was a really challenging time in the United States. So you will understand some of these messages, but I was told I was meant to read them in their chronological order. The first one's May 20th. You were afraid to love. Today, this message took a while to be received by Roger because he was fighting with us. Many of you may do the same. Roger was convinced there were exceptions to what we are about to say, but you will find it challenging to locate them. First of all, we are speaking to you, each person individually and your world collectively, primarily due to the current world conditions and the events in the United States. Now, again, remember, this was 2020. It's not talking about what's going on today. That's why this didn't make sense to me. Okay. We have given you several messages on this subject, but we will summarize here. Love is the most powerful force that exists. It is powerful because it does not restrict its energy. It does not limit its energy and continues to expand because love is the absence of all judgment. If you each come to understand and accept this concept, you and your world will evolve exponentially. The next thing to understand is you are all born benevolent beings. And when you stray from that understanding, you have conflicts because you have chosen not to be loving. You may get the sense this message will require study, but it will be worth it. If love is the most powerful energy and you are not feeling powerful, you have been afraid to love yourself. If you think others have more than you, you have been afraid to love yourself. When you judge your life or experiences as bad, you believe yourself to be bad, so there is no love experience. There's so much to give you, but we will leave it with you with this. Every experience you have in your life, whether or not you label them to be good, bad, right, or wrong, has the same purpose, which is to cause you to love yourself and in turn all others, for you are all one. You and your world are coming to understand this. All of these were given in a way that we could accept them because they were in this time sequence, because again, as I said, we would understand it later, which is obviously coming up to now. Now, the next one is June 21st. I'm saying all of these because I want people to understand, as I have talked about on this program 4 weeks and all of that, they couldn't understand exactly what it was meant to do. And it was meant to give you this understanding where you could start to move through your life and not let the world events affect you in a way that stops you. That's really what it was about. Your father is quite, June 20th, 2020. Your father is quite proud of you. We are saying that to each of you, for no matter if your father is alive, known, dead, or elusive, he is still proud of you. First of all, we would like to thank one of our readers who told Roger yesterday and remarked that our message was very deep and had a different writing style. We are happy you noticed, and this message will be the same. So allow yourself enough time to understand it. Today in the United States is the observance of Father's Day. You each react to that in your own ways, but there is significance you might want to consider. You chose your father for a reason, and that reason, once you decide to recognize it, will reveal to you who you are and what you wanted to achieve in this lifetime. The current conditions of your world are an excellent manifestation of generational beliefs and ideas that humans are reluctant to release due to fear. If you do not examine your ancestral leanings, you rob yourself of valuable information that would allow you to live your lives with greater ease. During Greek training yesterday, Roger gave a student something to do. and they did it correctly, but immediately stopped and second guessed themselves. They did that because it was a new behavior and it was wrong to them because it was different. Many times you do the same when you operate as your authentic self. It feels strange to you. Roger has witnessed this behavior in so many, and he recognized it within himself last night. Roger read an email from his nephew, and it was, this is, I'm going to talk, I want you to understand, this was going on during, starting leading up to the election, I believe that was happening here in the United States. So it was just a lot of things going on then. Okay. Roger read an email from his nephew, and it was a continued family discussion that at times turned contentious. For Roger, that is an uncomfortable place to be, as his nature is a peacemaker. Roger responded with an email and said he would no longer speak on the subject as he was getting on with his work of helping the world heal. Roger, that's funny because I didn't talk to you about that. Okay. Roger sent the email, saw a response, and began to feel guilty. Mind you, he was doing his job. As we have said during this time, more of you will do the same. This morning, we did another first. Roger went to his roommate and offered words of encouragement on his journey, for he had made significant changes and, like Roger, does not always trust when they are doing their jobs, in quotes. Also, please note, this has been challenging for Roger. For 3.5 years, as not many in Roger's family, it's been challenging for him for 3.5 years, as not many in Roger's family or friends understood why Roger would allow anyone in his life who needed any type of control, any type of help or support. Here's the deep part. Roger found a photo of his father a few days ago and thought he had not seen it, which he had. Now, what he had not seen was the significance. Roger's father was a loving man who could not express that in demonstrative ways. He did use the form of physical gifts to compensate, but that wasn't enough. Masculine energy at times finds it difficult to be vulnerable. And we have said, you are all embodying your feminine nature at this time. And in doing so, you evolve. You and your world are doing this now. And your father is proud of you because they were unable to accomplish as much as you. That is exactly what was meant in this entire thing, that we're moving through a generational thing and we're each meant to do our parts to bring in something new instead of attempting to hold on to the old. I know there are a lot of people who will have different ideas about what is happening and what's going on, and we're supposed to have that. You're not necessarily going to relate to my guides and everything that's coming through. However, you will probably get so much from it. I will just say that because it still surprises me. And the anger stuff, we've seen a lot of that. We had it going on then, we still have it going on now, and it's been building and building and building, which again is why we can get to wars very easily. And this one was a month, I think a month later, and it's called Why Are You Angry? Wow. We must say that even Roger is surprised by this message and wonders how we managed to string it together in a manner that will make sense to all. Decades ago, Roger was regularly seeing a counselor. It was an incredibly rewarding experience for him, for even though the sessions were emotionally exhausting initially, the result was always a feeling of release and freedom. During one of the meetings, the therapist remarked that they believed Roger had residual hidden anger. Roger found that comment to be surprising, as he thought he didn't have any anger. And if he did, he could definitely control it. We even gave him a process to use in his program with the title of this message. And when he revisits it, Roger will also be surprised by what he discovers. This morning, we led him to several videos He recognized he had heard before, but today they made more sense. And as he has given us more liberty to explore these issues. That means each of you could uncover your sources of anger if you follow the wisdom of your guides. It is always there. It is always there, but you tune it out. The subject of the video was your individual roles on Earth and how often you don't understand them, or more than likely, don't want to accept them, and anger arises. You think you don't have the talent or ability, and those feelings go against your birthright, and that is why you are angry. Then you might explode because you're angry at yourself for believing in your inadequacy. What you are witnessing in the world and your life personally is a collective expression of repressed residual anger at the belief in separateness and inadequacy. You have done this in your life, so of course the world would follow suit. We will also say, it is not all your fault. You carry a generational belief of which you are unaware. We led Roger to a photo this morning of the removal of a statue of one of the former presidents of the United States, as it depicted the president on a horse with subservient images based beside and below him of a Native American and African American. You were taught inadequacy, and that is why you are angry. Okay, I think that's enough for volume 1 because there's so much more of it. But the point of this was, we are moving through a stage in the world, and that's why we're having wars, and that's why all of these things are going on, even the weather. There's so many things that are all connected. But we are doing this individually. We each are here because we wanted to help heal this. And the way that we help bring this together is that we stop denying who we are, we start loving ourselves, and we put a whole new energy, an entirely new energy into the world. And then we start to see the world shift and change. And we each have the power to do that, except we think that we don't. And then that collective inadequacy leads way to people taking over and having dictators and having wars. That's what I got out of it. And it was crazy because this was, again, 2020. Didn't know where we were going, but here we are. I'm having a channeling session tomorrow, so I would like for you to show up there. They have more to say, and it will be helpful. So I hope that you do attend. All right. Hope this helps you guys. Take care.